Hello my friends and welcome back to another video. Today's video is a video that I've never done before. I don't even know if these are like popular videos to do, like if people do these videos, I don't know, but I'm gonna do it because I thought it would be fun. This is kind of like the opposite to my 5-star predictions video. These are books that I'm nervous to read, I'm scared I won't like, I'm gonna put off, I've been putting off, that kind of thing. And they're all for slightly different reasons. They're not the same reason for each book or anything like that, but I have 6 here to talk about, and I'm gonna tell you why I'm nervous to read it, or why I'm scared that I think I won't like it, or whatever. But I thought it would be fun, so, you know, if you end up liking this video, maybe give me a thumbs up and I might do another one. But let's get into the books that I am nervous to read. The first book that I'm including is honestly probably the most obvious book for me and my channel, and I think I've talked about it a lot, and I've talked about my being nervous to read it, so I'm gonna talk about it first just to kind of get it out of the way. But that is The Girl Next Door by Jack Ketchum. I think this book is just gonna be really overwhelming. It's gonna be too extreme for me. As someone who doesn't typically read a lot of extreme horror, and I tend not to love a lot of extreme horror, I feel like this is just gonna be too much for me. It's probably gonna make me cry. It's probably gonna make me upset. It's probably gonna make me, probably want to puke. Like, I just know that I'm not going to enjoy this book. Do I still want to read it? Yes. That's why I bought it. Do I feel kind of crazy? Yes, but I don't know. Every time I look at it, I just, in my mind, I'm like, you know what the book's about. You know what it's about, Erin. You know what to expect. I've seen the movie, but does that make it any less hard for me to pick up and read? No, it makes it even harder, honestly. And I'm just kind of nervous. Like, honestly, I'm probably really actually scared to read this. I feel like this is a book that I'm actually scared to read. I know that people really do have overall a good opinion of this book, and that's why it's talked about so much in the community. I know there are issues with the book. I've seen those as well, besides the fact of that it's extreme horror. I know that there's a lot of other issues that people have about this book. I kind of just want to read it for myself and see, but I don't know. I just feel like it's one of those books that it's gonna take me probably like a whole month to get through, or it's gonna be the only book I read for a month, and that's like it. Like, it's just gonna be my sole book. It's gonna put me in a huge slump. I probably won't want to read after it, and I don't know. I'm just like really nervous to read it. And I know a lot of you have told me that I'll probably be happy I read it afterwards, but I don't know. I can't bring myself to like bridge that gap and actually read it. So this is for sure a book that I am very nervous to read. Okay, the next book that I'm about to talk about is probably a book that I feel like it's gonna be, I think, a shock, but not in a bad way. Just like, I feel like people are gonna be surprised that I'm including it in this list, and I have my reasons, but that book is The Cipher by Cosia. So this is a very well-known, well-loved horror novel. I hear it talked about all the time. I know people absolutely love, love, love this book, and I've had it on my TBR for like a year and a half, maybe 2 years now, and I cannot bring myself to read it for the life of me. I will tell you why I'm nervous to read this book. One, on the back, I realized that it says that it was a top 10 debut science fiction novels that took the world by storm. Not the biggest fan of science fiction. I don't gravitate towards it, don't really care for it, don't really like it. It's not my genre, it's not my thing. I didn't know this was science fiction. I guess I should have thought about it, but I didn't really, I don't know, it didn't really click in my brain. So that kind of slightly puts me off the book. And that's just my own, like, security blanket of genres that I like to stay in. Like, I don't like to leave it. And so being outside my little security blanket of genres makes me nervous. It makes me nervous that I'm gonna hate it, and I don't know, like, I don't know that for a fact. Like, I don't know. The other thing is, the only thing I really know about this book, like, I haven't heard any, like, spoilers or too much about the plot. So it's about this couple that finds this hole that they call the fun hole, and that's all I really know about it. It kind of, like, overtakes their lives, and that's all I know. It's just, it's this hole that is in a storage room, and they get obsessed with it. That's all I really know. For me personally, it sounds like one of those books that is going to be, like, too smart for me. That's what I get when I think about this book, or when I read people's reviews or people's thoughts on it. It just feels like it's going to be a book that makes me feel kind of dumb, and that I'm not going to quite get. Like, I'm going to have to think about a lot, and my brain is just not going to understand it. It's going to fly right over my head, and I'm going to be sitting there like, wow, I'm an idiot. I don't understand what it's trying to convey. I could be 100% wrong about that. I really could. I have no idea because I haven't read it yet. But to me, that's what it sounds like, and so that makes me extremely nervous. Extremely nervous. I've also heard it's a slow burn, which we all know is not my favorite in horror. I'm not good at slow burn because I get bored. But so this book is just, it's honestly, it makes me nervous. Every time I think about picking it up and reading it, I get so nervous because I'm like, I don't know what I'm getting myself into. I'm gonna end up hating it, and I don't want to hate books. That's not my goal. I don't want to hate them. That honestly sounds horrible. Hating books is not fun. So it scares me, and that's why this book made it onto this list. The next book is Devil House by John Darnell, and I think everyone knows why this book makes me nervous to read, and that is for the sole reason that I feel like the cover misrepresented what the book actually is. This cover screams 80s haunted house horror, and that's why I was drawn to it. I thought it was absolutely beautiful. I thought it was gorgeous. I knew immediately I wanted to buy it. But I heard once people started reading it that it's not really horror at all. It is more like a crime fiction novel, and I had already bought it by the time I started hearing those comments. So that makes me extremely nervous. I will say that the plot does sound interesting. It is about a true crime writer who gets his big break being offered to move into the house where all these murders took place and write the book, yada yada yada. You know, a la Sinister. We love that. Well, at least I do. I love that kind of plot. I think it's super fun and kind of predictable, but in a fun way, you know? And so I do think this has potential to be really good and something I enjoy. I'm just really disappointed that it feels like it was misrepresented a little bit. I'm just saying, I do feel like it did get told, and I feel like they kind of let people believe that it was an 80s haunted house horror, and then that's why people were so hyped about it, and then everyone started realizing that it wasn't really that. So I do feel a little like, I'm a little upset about that. I was swayed by the cover. I do think the plot could still be good. It's just not what I wanted, unfortunately. But I do think this has potential to be a good story. It just makes me nervous that it is slightly chunky. I mean, it's a decent sized book. So I feel like it could be like more of a slow burn. So I'm a little nervous. I'm a little put off by it, but I do want to read it, and I do want to see for myself if I enjoy it and if I like it, and, you know, make my own opinions about it, obviously. I think it has potential to still be really good. I just feel a little sad that I I just wanted it to be an 80s haunted house. Like that would have been so cool, you know, but I'm gonna give it a chance. I'm gonna let it, you know, do its thing, but I am nervous to read it now that it's not what I wanted it to be. So the next book is actually a new release, and I'm nervous, okay? And that is Insomnia by Sarah Pinborough. One, the cover is absolutely stunning. I was drawn to it immediately. I think it's gorgeous. This is the same author who wrote Behind Her Eyes, which we all know I did not like, and honestly that's the main reason that I am nervous for this book, is I'm just worried that it's gonna be along the same lines as Behind Her Eyes. Obviously not plot-wise, but just more so the direction that she took Behind Her Eyes, because the way that book went just kind of spiraled out of left field for me, and it went in a direction that I just thought was a little too wild for a thriller. And so I'm worried that this is going to be the same thing with Insomnia, but I am willing to give Sarah Pinborough another chance. I am. I think this one sounds more up my alley than Behind Her Eyes, honestly. So I am excited for it. So basically what it's about this woman whose mom started getting insomnia as she got to her 40th birthday, and then she went mad. And so now the same thing is happening to her that happened to her mom. She starts being unable to sleep and getting insomnia as she's getting closer to her 40th birthday. That's all I really know. I don't really know much. I've heard from what people have said, it's really good and intense and crazy. But also everyone said that about Behind Her Eyes, and I disagreed. So I'm very nervous to read this. I'm giving Sarah Pinborough another chance. I really am. I'm hoping this one actually hits for me and I enjoy it way, way, way more than I enjoyed Behind Her Eyes. But that's really the reason I'm nervous, is just because I genuinely did not like Behind Her Eyes so much that I'm scared that this will be along the same lines. But I'm willing to try. I'm willing to try. This cover is absolutely stunning. Like, I'm obsessed. So I do think this could be good, but I am nervous. So next up we have The Maidens by Alex Michaelides. I believe I am saying that correctly. I did look it up because the last time I said his last name I butchered it, so I think that's correct. But this is honestly just me being nervous because everyone hates this book. Well, that's not true. I've seen very mixed reviews on this book. Either you really like it or you really don't like it, and that makes me nervous. It makes me really, really nervous because I do like to know other people's opinions on books. It's hard not to pay attention to other people's opinions when I have a booktube channel, I have a bookstagram, I have a book talk. Like, I'm seeing opinions all the time. So I'm always seeing what people are thinking, and it's hard to avoid it sometimes. And as much as I try to stay as unbiased as possible, some books I do hear talked about more than others, and The Maidens is one of them. I know a lot of people did not like this book. I've heard the same thing with his other book, The Silent Patient. I haven't read that one, but yeah, I don't know. People they have a lot of issues with it. I don't really know why. I try not to pay attention too much to the whys because I want to go in a little bit, you know, blind. So there's a therapist who believes that this professor at the university is a murderer, and she becomes obsessed with it. Also, her niece's friend is found murdered at the university. So I think she just kind of becomes obsessed with the idea that this professor is the murderer and that there's like secrets at this university and that, you know, yada yada yada. It's a dark academia thriller. I haven't read too many dark academia books. The only one I really read was In My Dreams I Hold a Knife, which I did not care for. So I think I'm a little nervous, a little apprehensive about the dark academia kind of thing, but I do want to read this one. I have it. I picked it for a book of the month. Like, I want to read it. I have it. It's on my TBR. I'm just a little bit nervous because of the stuff that everyone says about it. Everyone really, like, doesn't seem to like it, or they love it, and that makes me very apprehensive sometimes with books because I never know where I'm going to fall, and if I'm too nervous about where I'm going to fall, either liking or hating, I get nervous and I put a book off. So that's pretty much where The Maidens is falling, is I'm just not sure how I'm gonna feel about it, so I've put it off. But I do intend to read this hopefully this year, but yeah, I am nervous. Okay, next and last on my nervous list is Reprieve by James Han Matson, or Han Matson, I don't know. Han Matson, not sure. I've had this for a while. I bought it when it first came out because I knew a lot of people were talking about it, and it sounded like something that was going to be up my alley. So this is about these contestants who go to a full contact haunted house escape room, and someone ends up getting killed. I honestly was obsessed with the idea of this book. I think it sounds so interesting because full contact haunted houses terrify me. Well, actually, haunted houses in general terrify me. I don't go to them. I don't like haunted houses for, like, I think they're not my idea of fun. I personally don't enjoy them, and everyone I've ever been to has traumatized me. So I personally don't enjoy going to haunted houses, like, for fun. At least not, like, fake haunted houses. I mean, a real haunted house I would go to, but not a fake one. Not where, like, people pop out and, like, try to scare you. That's not my idea of fun, okay? But I am really interested in the full contact haunted houses. I think they are very intriguing. I personally don't understand why anyone goes to them. I personally just don't understand. They don't entice me in the slightest. So when I found out a book was, you know, going to be about that, I was thrilled. However, I've seen reviews about this one saying that it's a very, very small part of the novel, and you don't get much of the full contact haunted house, like, experience. It's not really about that, which is really disappointing to me, honestly, and it's made me not want to pick it up, just because that's the part that enticed me the most. It's the part that made me excited and wanting to pick it up and read it. And so when I heard people talking about it, I was a little bit like, ugh, man, do I even want to go through with this? Do I want to read it still? Are you sure? So honestly, I've just been putting it off because I feel like I'm just disappointed by the fact that it's not what I wanted it to be. I mean, of course, I don't know that for a fact. I haven't read it yet. It could surprise me. But at this moment in time, from what I've heard, it just makes me a little less thrilled to pick it up and read it because I really liked the idea, and it doesn't seem like it's exactly what I was hoping it to be. So that makes me nervous, and I'm afraid that I won't enjoy it as much as I want to. Okay, so those are 6 books that I am nervous to read. They were all fairly different. I feel like I had a different reason for all of them, and, you know, they're kind of silly reasons. It's nothing too serious. It's just me being, like, super weird about books. I feel like everyone has those books that they pick up initially really, really excited for them, and then they hear a review or see people talking about it and realize something, and then they're a little less excited to read it. So I feel like I'm not the only one that does that. I feel like I'm not. I hope not. Please let me know if you also have books that you feel this way about. But yeah, those are 6 books that I'm a little nervous to read. I do want to read them all, so let me know if you want, like, an update video, kind of like the 5-star predictions update video that I am planning to do, where I give you a brief rundown of how I felt and if they really did disappoint, or if I, you know, really shouldn't have been nervous in the long run, or if I was right about them all along and I ended up not liking them. Let me know if you want, like, an update to this one you know, in the future when I eventually read these all. If you enjoyed, please give me a thumbs up. It lets me know that you enjoyed the video. That way I can keep giving you these types of videos. If you haven't subscribed already, please do so, and we can become friends and talk about books, horror, thrillers, manga, movies, all things spooky and creepy and weird. And with that being said, I hope you are having a wonderful day, night, morning, afternoon, wherever you are, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!